Hello friends, the answer is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? That is for peace. Those things we have done. Today we will do the second stanza. The second stanza, yes, and how many years can a mountain exist? Mountain stands for something that will not move, isn't it? There's no movement. It stays where it is. Like that. Mountain here means actually the powers of this world. The men in authority, proud dictators, proud and arrogant men. Arrogance means pride plus anger together. Pride plus anger, that is, we call such a person we call an arrogant person. Arrogance. Who would not listen to anybody. That's the meaning. So the word here, mountain. Mountain stands not for the literal mountain, but it stands for those who are very proud leaders, authorities, presidents, dictators, and so on. So there are people who will not listen to you. They are not subject to change. They will not change because they think that they are all powerful. That is mountain here. Another one is washed to the sea. Something is washed to the sea means that is total destruction. Such people will not live long. But after some time, they won't exist for a long period of time, as we have seen. Take the history of all the dictators. Napoleon, Caesar, isn't it? Then all the kings and queens of yesteryears. King John of England, King John of England. So this. The emperors of Russia, they are all proud men. They are all people who would not change. They were like mountains. They will not listen to other people. That's what it is. Yes, and how many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Definitely it will be washed to the sea. Such rulers will be destroyed. We know the mountains in France before the French Revolution, all washed to the sea. Isn't it? You have read it. You have studied French Revolution, I think, in your history lessons. When you are doing your history, most probably you might have read the stories, the events. The stories and events related to French Revolution, the French Revolution. What about in India? We have got our own experience. The mountain, the British, they were washed to the sea on August 15th, 1947. So every country has such a history. These mountain-like figures, mountain stands like this. So the mountain-like figures are washed to the sea. Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they are allowed to be free? So there are millions of people who have absolutely no idea about what freedom is. They live a life of slavery. They don't know what is freedom. They don't know what is dignity of life. They don't know what is equality. They don't know what is liberty. They don't know what is fraternity. They don't know that all are created equal by God. In the world you will find some are equal, some are never equal, some are more equal. That's what we find. So that's what he's asking. Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they are allowed to be free? Who can say that? When will these people be free? The answer, my friend, is blowing the wind. The answer is blowing the wind. That's the answer. Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head? You are turning your head means you don't listen. Suppose you are coming to me, sir, then I do this. No, I am turning my head means I don't want to listen to you. These world leaders, so-called the powerful, the powers of the world, they don't listen to the common man. They don't want to hear them. That's it. That's why he is asking his son, how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? So when you go with a petition to your higher authority, they pretend. What is pretend means? They appear in such a way that they are very busy. They don't want to hear. They have no time to hear. But someday you will be heard. Again the French Revolution. The poor people, starving people, they went to the king. You remember what the king said? People said, we have nothing to eat, no bread to eat. Then what did Louis XIV say? King Louis XIV of France? He said, why do you want to eat bread? You eat cake. Poor people. They have nothing to eat. They said, we don't have bread. But then he says, the king has never seen bread. He knows only bread, cakes and other things, other higher things. So he said, why do you want to eat bread? Bread is for pigs. Animals eat bread. You are human, so you go and eat. You go and eat cake. What a man is he. And it is during his reign means rule, that the French Revolution broke out. So if you don't listen to the petitions, the sufferings, the problems of people, common man, what will happen is that one day what will happen, you will have to hear. You will be compelled to listen to them. Then it would have been, the time might have been too late. And after that what comes is revolution, as in the case of the French Revolution. Understand? Even in democracies we find the powerful rulers, they have no time to listen to the poor man, the common man. See that? But finally what will happen? They will have to listen. But then, the answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. Understand? That's the thing. Then we have got, and then we have got the refrain, the answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. So those repeated lines there, as we have said, we have seen yesterday, refrain. At regular intervals that will be repeated at the end of every stanza. Refrain, something is repeated. Understand? So yesterday we saw how many rods, what experience of voice, etc. Next, how many times you have to make attempts to bring about peace. How many times guns will spit bullets before war is banned. Nobody knows. So all the questions here, very relevant even today. Then his next stanza begins with the arrogant and powerful men of this world, the so-called leaders and rulers. So listen, otherwise you will be washed away. Then it says about the poor people who suffer, who live in slavery, who has not taste of freedom. And the next one he says that if what happens, for a very long period of time you cannot reject the petitions of the people, the needs of the people. You will have to hear one day, listen to those petitions one day, but when, we don't know. Now we can see the simplified version. For many, many years, proud and arrogant rulers of the world may exist. But at the end, they will be thrown out of this world. But when? Washed to the sea. Next one, for many, many years, some people will have to live as slaves, as people who are denied freedom and dignity of existence before they become free. So you have to live for a very long period of time, struggle for a very long period of time, independence struggle, you know, our own independence struggle. How many years? And then at last, freedom at midnight. The famous speech you remember of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. As the world sleeps, India wakes to freedom. But after how many years? After how much bloodshed? After sacrifices, huge sacrifices made by Indians, patriotic Indians. All the Indians are patriotic. So patriotic Indians. At last, freedom at midnight. One day. And then, for many, many years, those in power and authority will pretend not to hear the cries of men for liberty, equality, and dignity of existence as human beings. Just now I told you how many years we struggled. Our struggle for independence, the sacrifices made by us, made by our leaders, made by common people, men, women, and children, under the great leadership of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. How many years? Finally, they had to listen. And then they said, we are going. Because the people demanded, quit India. See? And only, even after they did not go, they were unwilling to listen. The then Prime Minister, remember, Prime Minister Attlee, what did he say? Indians were not matured enough to rule their own country. They are not matured enough. One of the Prime Ministers of England declared like that. That means we don't want to listen to you now. You are not mature. And finally what happens? As you are in freedom at midnight. So that is. So there you have, mountains will someday be thrown out. Mountain stands for men in authority. Dictators. Mountains will go. Then people are, large number of people, they live without knowing what freedom is. But one day they will get it. But when? And then next one is, you can go on rejecting the petitions and the cries for freedom of the people for some time. But one day you will have to listen to them. The question is, when will such injustice come to an end? The answer is blowing in the wind. That is, no one knows the answer. The answer is blowing in the wind. Means no one knows the answer. That's the thing. Yes, and how many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Rhetorical questions. Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they are allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? Answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. We'll continue the next class. Till then, bye. Hope you are following me. You are enjoying. Have you done that homework I told you to do? Did you have time to listen to the song sung by Bob Dylan himself? And also, did you have time to listen to the speech made by Martin Luther King Jr.? I have a dream. If not, find some time. It is worth listening. Hope that you will do it. So till we meet again, bye.